From New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world with me, Deepika, coming up in the next 1 hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds telephonic conversation with US President Donald Trump, discusses Pahalgam terror attack, Operation Sindoor at length. Trump expresses condolences on the Pahalgam terror attack and support against terrorism. India again reiterates there was no third-party mediation that brought halt to the hostilities during Operation Sindoor. Prime Minister Modi makes it clear to Donald Trump that no mediation at any time or any level between India and Pakistan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral talks with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Leaders agree to restore high commissioners to realize potential of the relationship. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds fruitful discussions on diverse global issues with world leaders on G7 summit sidelines, expresses commitment to furthering global peace, prosperity and sustainability. Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarks for Croatia on the third leg of his three-nation visit, first visit of Indian Prime Minister to Croatia since 1991, to hold bilateral talks with Croatian counterpart on issues of mutual interests. US Embassy in Jerusalem shut till Friday. Trump calls for Iran's unconditional surrender, says Iranian leader Khamenei is safe for now, but US's patience is wearing thin. West Asia on edge as Israel-Iran conflict enters sixth day. Oil prices jump and stocks tumble at the world markets amid concerns of worsening situation. And in sports, India's young archers set world record. Under-21 women's compound team and mixed compound team smash under-21 world records at Asia Cup Stage 2 in Singapore. To begin with the latest and the biggest update of the hour, US President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke over a 30-minute telephonic conversation today, which was made on the request from the US side. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri briefed all on the phone conversation a short while back. The call began with Prime Minister Narendra Modi giving details of Pahalgam attack and Operation Sindoor that followed to President Donald Trump. The two leaders also spoke about Russia, Ukraine and Israel-Iran conflict.
मोदी और राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप की मुलाकात G7 समिट की साइडलाइंस पर होनी तय थी। राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप को जल्दी वापस अमेरिका लौटना पड़ा, जिसके कारण ये मुलाकात नहीं हो पाई। इसके बाद राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप के आग्रह पर आज दोनों लीडर्स की फोन पर बात हुई। बातचीत लगभग 35 मिनट चली। 22 अप्रैल को पहलगाम आतंकी हमले के बाद राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप ने फोन पर प्रधानमंत्री मोदी को शोक संवेदना प्रकट की थी और आतंक के खिलाफ समर्थन व्यक्त किया था। उसके बाद दोनों लीडर्स की ये पहली बातचीत थी। इसलिए प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप से ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के बारे में विस्तार से बात की। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप को स्पष्ट रूप से कहा कि 22 अप्रैल के बाद भारत ने आतंकवाद के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करने का अपना दृढ़ संकल्प पूरी दुनिया को बता दिया था। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने कहा कि 6-7 मई की रात को भारत ने पाकिस्तान और पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर में सिर्फ आतंकी ठिकानों को ही निशाना बनाया था। भारत के एक्शन बहुत ही मेजर्ड, प्रिसाइज और नॉन एस्केलेटरी थे। साथ ही भारत ने यह भी स्पष्ट कर दिया था कि पाकिस्तान की गोली का जवाब भारत गोले से देगा। 9 मई की रात को उपराष्ट्रपति वैंस ने प्रधानमंत्री मोदी को फोन किया था। उपराष्ट्रपति वैंस ने कहा था कि पाकिस्तान भारत पर बड़ा हमला कर सकता है। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने उन्हें साफ शब्दों में बताया था कि यदि ऐसा होता है तो भारत पाकिस्तान को उससे भी बड़ा जवाब देगा। 9-10 मई की रात को पाकिस्तान के हमले का भारत ने बहुत सशक्त जवाब दिया और पाकिस्तान की सेना को बहुत नुकसान पहुंचाया। उसके मिलिट्री एयर बेसिस को इनऑपरेबल बना दिया। भारत के मुंहतोड़ जवाब के कारण पाकिस्तान को भारत से सैन्य कार्रवाई रोकने का आग्रह करना पड़ा। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप को स्पष्ट रूप से कहा कि इस पूरे घटनाक्रम के दौरान कभी भी किसी भी स्तर पर भारत अमेरिका ट्रेड डील या अमेरिका द्वारा भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच मध्यस्थता जैसे विषयों पर बात नहीं हुई थी। सैन्य कार्रवाई रोकने की बात सीधे भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच दोनों सेनाओं की एग्जिस्टिंग चैनल्स के माध्यम से हुई थी और पाकिस्तान के ही आग्रह पर हुई थी। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने जोर देकर कहा कि भारत ने न तो कभी मध्यस्थता स्वीकार की थी, न करता है और न ही कभी करेगा। इस विषय पर भारत में पूर्ण रूप से राजनीतिक एकमत है। राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप ने प्रधानमंत्री द्वारा विस्तार में बताई गई बातों को समझा और आतंकवाद के खिलाफ भारत की लड़ाई के प्रति समर्थन व्यक्त किया। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने यह भी कहा कि भारत अब आतंकवाद को प्रॉक्सी वॉर नहीं, युद्ध के रूप में ही देखता है और भारत का ऑपरेशन सिंदूर अभी भी जारी है। राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप ने प्रधानमंत्री मोदी से पूछा कि क्या वे कनाडा से वापसी में अमेरिका रुक कर जा सकते हैं। पूर्व निर्धारित कार्यक्रमों के कारण प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने अपनी असमर्थता व्यक्त की। दोनों लीडर्स ने तब तय किया कि वे निकट भविष्य में मिलने का प्रयास करेंगे। राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने इजराइल ईरान के बीच चल रहे संघर्ष पर भी चर्चा की। रूस यूक्रेन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट पर दोनों ने सहमति जताई कि जल्द से जल्द शांति के लिए दोनों पक्षों में सीधी बातचीत आवश्यक है और इसके लिए प्रयास करते रहना चाहिए। इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र के संबंध में दोनों नेताओं ने अपने परिप्रेक्ष्य साझा किए और इस क्षेत्र में क्वाड की अहम भूमिका के प्रति समर्थन जताया। क्वाड की अगली बैठक के लिए प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप को भारत यात्रा का निमंत्रण दिया। राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप ने निमंत्रण स्वीकार करते हुए कहा कि वे भारत आने के लिए उत्सुक हैं।
And now to get you more on this, I'm joined by DD India correspondent Amit Mukherjee from New Delhi. Amit, India has cleared its stand that it never accepted any mediation between India and Pakistan from any third party. Tell us more about it from diplomatic point of view and the fact that India always stood firm in its stand against terrorism.
Well, Deepika, first of all, let's understand that this has been, the culmination of India's outreach against terrorism. Global outreach with India has been doing. Several delegations have been going out across to different countries in the world and briefing leaders about the April 22nd attack and thereafter India's stance as far as terror is concerned. Fight against terror is concerned. And India had also made it clear that the doctrine to fight terror was redefined post April 22. Now this again, the call between President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is again the India's outreach at the highest level where, the leaders of the two largest democracies of the world had a one-on-one where Prime Minister Narendra Modi very, very clearly spelled out India's doctrine as far as dealing with terror is concerned. He briefed President Donald Trump entirely on the Operation Sindoor and India's stance as far as dealing with proxy terrorism which has been happening, proxy war through terrorism which has been happening. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also made it clear that India will now be treating proxy war as a direct war, as far as terror is concerned, and India will be giving a befitting reply. All the things that had taken place, which led to the India-Pakistan, conflict escalating on the night of 9th and 10th of May, when India launched an attack against Pakistan, Prime Minister Modi spelled out each and every aspect of it. And again, certain very, very key pointers, during the talks which came out, like India is not going to accept any mediation. India is going to be tough against terror. Those were the things that were spelled very, very clearly out at a direct one-on-one conversation between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Donald Trump and President Donald Trump, which is again a very, very significant, step as far as, India's war against terror is concerned. Deepika?
And also, Amit, US President initiated the call with the Indian Prime Minister, and this comes ahead of the Quad Summit, which is to be hosted by India in this year. How does this reflect on India-US relationship?
Well, Deepika, if you look at the entire global picture, trade war, tariff war is something which is very, very significant at this point in time. And currently, US and India is also negotiating trade deals, which is going to impact the economies of both the countries, as well as it will have a global impact, as far as US and India trade deals are concerned. Now, if you look at the Indian economy, the stock market has been quite stable. I mean, if you look at, the stock markets across the world, they have been going through a lot of turmoil. But Indian economy has been very, very stable, which is again a the reflection of which is again the Indian stock markets. And it has been choppy, but by and large, it has been stable. Now, again, the relationship, taking forward the relationship which was discussed today, between President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi regarding his, Prime Minister Modi extended, an invitation to President Donald Trump to come over to India during the next Quad, meeting, and which President Donald Trump also accepted, And a lot of things has not been said, but it's very, very clear that India and US is again moving ahead towards a very, very strategic relationship going ahead. And whether it's trade or other sort of associations, bilateral associations, and these things are moving at a very, very positive direction. That is what the crux of this whole conversation which had happened this earlier today between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Donald Trump reflects upon. And the indication is very, very healthy, very, very positive going ahead. US and India will definitely look at better and improved and escalate and improved, bilateral relations, whether it's in terms of trade, technology, and also military associations.
Rather flourishing bilateral relationship when we talk about both the countries, and also the fact that both the leaders discussed the Iran-Israel conflict. They also discussed the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi once again reiterated the fact that dialogue and diplomacy is the only key, because in any sort of conflict, third-party involvement is very much important, and both the leaders agreed on the same page. How do you see this in world's diplomatic point of view, Amit?
You see, Deepika, the fact that all the topmost, issues which are plaguing the global community right now were discussed during the meeting with President Trump and between President Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. That itself reflects the fact that US also takes India very seriously as far as global issues are concerned. The very fact that both the leaders discussed Ukraine-Russia conflict, the ongoing Iran and Israel conflict, it shows that, the US also takes India's point of view quite seriously as far as all these global issues are concerned. These are right at the center stage right now, because every citizen across the globe is getting affected by this geopolitical unrest that's happening in the central, in West Asia and, and Europe, Asian region. So the fact, the topics which were discussed between the two leaders very, very clearly spells out the fact that both countries, respect each other's democratic setup, and they consider each other very, very crucial as far as dealing with global issues are concerned. Deepika?
All right. Thank you so much, Amit, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective on the direct talks that took place this morning between President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Time to take a short break, but still to come on the other side. Indian Embassy in Tel Aviv issues travel advisory, issues helpline number for Indian citizens. Trump keeps all options on the table, whether to join Israel's air campaign against Tehran or not, in his National Security Council meeting on Tuesday. And Iranian leader Khamenei has said they will show Israel no mercy as air war rages on.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar.
Johar.
अरे it fits perfectly.
Thank you. Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to arrive in Croatia, marking a historic and strategically significant visit that underscores India's deepening engagement with Central and Eastern Europe. DD India's Jessica Taneja sent us this report from Zagreb. Take a look.
Heels of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's participation in the G7 summit, the engagements in Zagreb will extend beyond traditional bilateral pleasantries and serve as a strategic exploration of how Croatia fits into India's expanding European vision. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's arrival in Croatia marks a significant milestone. It will be the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister since this Adriatic nation gained independence in 1991. And as India and the European Union seek to conclude a potential free trade agreement before this year ends, partners like Croatia not only provide critical leverage, but also important logistical pathways. Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to hold bilateral discussions with Croatian Prime Minister Andrej Plenković and also meet President Zoran Milanović. These discussions are expected to cover a wide range of topics and present a vital opportunity to broaden bilateral cooperation across various sectors, including trade, innovation, defence, ports, shipping, science and technology, cultural exchanges, as well as workforce mobility. Croatia, an EU and NATO member, offers political stability and a growing economy. With 2.9% GDP growth in the first quarter that has often outpaced the EU average, it holds significant cultural and strategic relevance that resonates in New Delhi. Its consistent support for India's aspiration for a permanent seat at the UNSC and its advocacy for India's membership in the Nuclear Suppliers Group are valued. Discussions will likely address cooperation in international forums on shared challenges such as climate change, counter-terrorism, and regional stability. The visit also highlights the importance of strengthening people-to-people contacts and cultural ties. Building on centuries-old cultural links, the University of Zagreb, with its historic Centre for Indology and increasing Indian cultural influence in Croatia through various initiatives, underscores the existing cultural connections. Over the past decade, India's engagement with the continent has expanded significantly beyond its historical focus on major Western European economies. This visit is not an isolated event, but an integral component of India's evolving and increasingly nuanced approach to European diplomacy. Jessica Taneja for DD India in Zagreb, Croatia.
And now let's go across to Croatia, where Jessica Taneja joins us. Good morning, Jessica. Croatia is the last leg of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's three-nation tour. Diplomatically, how Croatia is important to India? Jessica.
Good morning, Deepika, and to all our viewers in New Delhi. The morning in Croatia right now, and Prime Minister is scheduled to arrive in a few hours, as said earlier as well. He will be holding talks with the Prime Minister Andrej Plenković, along with later on meeting with the President Zoran Milanović as well. This is the first visit, as you pointed out, of the Prime Minister to the Adriatic nation ever since it gained independence in 1991. An interesting turn of events. This will be the third leg of the Prime Minister's visit from Cyprus, Canada, and now to Croatia. Now, interestingly, Croatia has a lot to offer when it comes to its membership in the European Union, as well as being a NATO partner. Now, the ties between the two have remained firm, as I pointed out earlier as well in my report. There have been historical ties, but Croatia has now become increasingly important as well. It's a thriving economy, and India is looking to diversify its relationships within the European Union bloc. So there are more than 26 members, and Croatia remains one of the important ones. And throughout the day, we will also see MOUs being signed, but we'll wait for that announcement later in the day when we'll hear from the press briefing from AS XP later on, when we will get to know as to what all has materialized when it comes to the meeting between the Prime Minister of Croatia along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And interestingly, Croatia has shown a lot of interest when it comes to the Indian culture. There's a dedicated department of Indology as well in the University of Zagreb. Plus a lot of areas of cooperation, especially when it comes to enhancing trade, an important EU partner with whom India looks to diversify its trade and perhaps increase the momentum moving forward.
Also take us through the line of events expected to unfold after PM's arrival in Croatia. Jessica?
Prime Minister will be here in a few hours from now, Deepika. He will be welcomed by the diaspora here in Croatia, in Zagreb. And after that, he will be holding bilateral talks, as I pointed out, with the Prime Minister, Andrej Plenković, and later on meeting with the President, Zoran Milanovic, as well. And throughout the day, as I said, you can expect various MOUs to be signed, a lot of ceremonial aspect to it as well, a grand welcome for the Prime Minister here in Croatia. Since it's his first visit, there's a lot of emphasis. We've seen not only just heightened security presence, but a lot awaited when it comes to welcoming the Prime Minister. A lot of similarity here, and as you know, Sanskrit was quite popular here. It was studied deeply. So we're expecting few students, Croatian students, who would interact with him and are still popularizing Hindi as well. There are a lot of...
All right. Thank you so much, Jessica, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's arrival there in Croatia. Moving on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi this morning concluded a productive Canada visit where he participated in the G7 Outreach Summit in Canada. He thanked the Canadian people and the government for hosting a successful G7 summit that witnessed fruitful discussions on diverse global issues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that India remains committed to furthering global peace, prosperity and sustainability. Other leaders of Australia, Brazil, Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, Ukraine and heads of international organizations, United Nations, World Bank convened for a collective commitment to addressing global challenges and promoting common values. France will host the next G7 Leaders Summit at the Alpine Spa Resort, which is the town of Evian-les-Bains. Bordering Switzerland on the shores of Lake Geneva, Evian already hosted the G7 back in the year 2003. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney on the sidelines of the 51st G7 Leaders Summit in Canada, complimenting the counterpart and the government for successfully hosting the G7 summit. Both the leaders held discussions on wide-ranging topics. In a joint remark, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that India has kept the foundation in G20 for global good and it should be taken forward at G7 as well. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India and Canada are connected by a strong belief in democracy, freedom and rule of law. And both the leaders are looking forward to working closely to add momentum to the India-Canada friendship in areas like trade, energy, space, clean energy, critical minerals, fertilizers and more offer immense potential in this regard. Take a listen.
पिछले दिनों G20 समिट की अध्यक्षता के रूप में भारत ने विश्व के लिए अनेक उपकारक ऐसे इनिशिएटिव लिए हैं। आज G7 के अंदर G20 में भारत ने जो मजबूत नींव रखी है उसको एक प्रकार से नए स्वरूप में G7 में उसके एग्जीक्यूशन की दिशा में ले जाने में एक बहुत बड़ा अवसर है और भारत इस अवसर का उपयोग ग्लोबल गुड के लिए करने के लिए हमेशा इच्छुक रहा है, आगे भी इच्छुक रहेगा।
Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that India and Canada relations are very important in many ways. Many Canadian companies have investments in India. The people of India also have a huge investment on Canadian soil.
लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों को समर्पित कनाडा और भारत मिलकर के लोकतंत्र को मजबूत करना होगा, मानवता को मजबूत करना होगा, हमारे रिसोर्सेज का ऑप्टिमम यूटिलाइजेशन कर करके मानव जात के कल्याण के काम में कैसे ला सकते हैं उस दिशा में हम प्रयास करते रहेंगे। और मुझे विश्वास है कि प्रधानमंत्री जी के चुनाव के बाद मुझे पहली बार मिलने का मौका मिला है, तो इस चुनाव के भव्य विजय के लिए भी मैं उनको बधाई देता हूं और आने वाले कालखंड में उनके साथ भारत और कनाडा मिलकर के अनेक क्षेत्रों में प्रगति करेंगे।
Canadian Prime Minister said that India's presence at the G7 summit is a testament to the importance of Prime Minister Modi's leadership. He added that Canada stands with India in fight against terrorism.
It's a great honor to host you at the G7. India has been coming to the G7, I believe, since 2018 in Biarritz with our French partners, and it's a testament to the importance of your country, to your leadership, and to the importance of the issues that we look to tackle together, from energy security, from the energy transition that you're helping to lead, to the future of artificial intelligence, to the fight that we have against transnational repression, against terrorism, against...
During the first in-person interaction between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Canadian Prime Minister, the leaders reaffirmed the importance of India-Canada ties based on common democratic values, respect for the rule of law, and commitment to upholding the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. The two leaders underlined the need to pursue constructive and balanced partnership grounded in mutual respect for concerns and sensitivities, strong people-to-people ties, and growing economic complementarities as well. And in this regard, both the sides agreed to take calibrated and constructive steps to restore stability in the relationship, beginning with the early return of High Commissioners to each other's capital. They also underscored the importance of restarting senior ministerial as well as working level engagements across various domains to rebuild trust and bring momentum to the relationship. The leaders discussed opportunities for future collaboration in areas such as clean energy, digital transformation, artificial intelligence, LNG, food security, critical minerals, higher education, mobility, and supply chain resilience. They reaffirmed their shared interest in promoting a free and open Indo-Pacific. The leaders also discussed the importance of restarting the stalled negotiations on the early progress trade agreement with a view to paving the way for a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. Also, the two leaders agreed to task their respective officials to engage further in this regard. The leaders also underlined the deep people-to-people connections between the two countries and agreed to leverage this living bridge to benefit both the countries. Now, Canada and India have agreed to restore High Commissioners in both the countries. The announcement came after the two leaders met on the sidelines of the G7 summit. Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said that these steps will boost India and Canada ties. He further added that other areas of discussion between the two leaders included artificial intelligence, critical minerals, and trade.
The Prime Ministers agreed to take calibrated steps to restore stability to this very important relationship. And the first of these steps that was agreed on was to restore High Commissioners to each other's capitals at an early date. Other diplomatic steps will follow in due course. The two Prime Ministers also agreed to resume senior and working level mechanisms and discussions in a host of areas related to trade, to people contact and connectivity, all of them intended to bring greater momentum to the relationship.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met other world leaders on G7 margins and discussed bilateral ties, regional and global issues with his global counterparts on the margins of the G7 summit in Canada. DD India's Amritpal Singh gave us these details. Take a look.
Apart from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's intervention at the G7 summit, his bilateral meetings were important. He met with G7 leaders ranging from Emmanuel Macron to his meeting with Giorgia Meloni to the German Chancellor and other G7 and invitee countries. But the most important meeting was with Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada, where the two sides decided to restore the relationship back to where it was and start working towards realizing the full potential of the relationship. The biggest announcement was the restoration of the High Commissioners, which were withdrawn by both countries in the aftermath of the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar in 2023. We saw a downturn in the relationship for the past 2 years, but now with both Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Carney expressing their commitment to taking the relationship and to greater heights, and working together on restoring democratic values and exploring the trade potential that exists between the two nations. Amrit Pal Singh for DDI India in Kananaskis, Canada.
Time to take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's quickly recap the top headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds telephonic conversation with US President Donald Trump, discusses Pahalgam terror attack, Operation Sindoor at length. Trump expresses condolences on the Pahalgam terror attack and support against terrorism. India again reiterates there was no third-party mediation that brought halt to the hostilities during Operation Sindoor. Prime Minister Narendra Modi makes it clear to Donald Trump that no mediation at any time or any level between India and Pakistan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral talks with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Leaders agree to restore High Commissioners to realize potential of the relationship. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds fruitful discussions on diverse global issues with world leaders on G7 summit sidelines, expresses commitment to furthering global peace, prosperity and sustainability. Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarks for Croatia on third leg of his three-nation visit, first visit of Indian Prime Minister to Croatia since 1991, to hold bilateral talks with Croatian counterpart on issues of mutual interests. US Embassy in Jerusalem shut till Friday. Trump calls for Iran's unconditional surrender, says Iranian leader Khamenei is safe for now, but US patience is wearing thin. And in sports, India's young archers set world record. Under-21 women's compound team and mixed compound team smash under-21 world records at Asia Cup Stage 2 in Singapore. And now to get you the latest on the West Asia conflicts. Iran and Israel launched new missile strikes at each other on Wednesday as the conflict between the two nations entered its sixth day. Israel's military has said it has struck Iran deep, hitting its nuclear, ballistic and command capabilities. It launched at least 2 waves of strikes targeting missile and drone sites in western Iran. Multiple series of loud explosions were heard across Tehran over the course of the day, while Iranian media reported blasts in Isfahan that hosts nuclear facilities. Israel said it intercepted most of a barrage of missiles fired from Iran after air raid sirens sounded in Tel Aviv and northern parts of the country. The Israeli military issued 7 missile alerts for various parts of the country since midnight. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that Israel's campaign seeks to eliminate Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile programs, as well as its axis of terrorism, a reference to Iranian-backed militant groups in the Middle East. He has also not ruled out killing the supreme leader. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar said that regime change is not an objective of this war. It can be a result, but it's not an objective, unquote. Iran's Armed Forces Chief of Staff Abdul Rahim Mousavi has issued a stark warning to Israeli civilians. In a televised statement, Mousavi urged the residents of Tel Aviv and Haifa to evacuate immediately, citing imminent punitive operations against Israel. Meanwhile, Iran's Revolutionary Guards say they have launched retaliatory strikes on Israel air bases, which they claim have been used to launch attacks on Iranian territory. Tensions remain dangerously high. And amid escalating tensions between Iran and Israel, US President Donald Trump called for Iran's unconditional surrender and warned US patience was wearing thin. Trump claimed that the US knows the exact location of Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, calling him an easy target, but added that he won't be taken out, at least for now. Trump also asserted that the US controls the skies over Iran and praised the effectiveness of US-made weaponry, though stopped short of directly naming Israel. The US Embassy in Jerusalem will be shut from Wednesday through Friday due to the security situation in the region and to comply with Israeli guidance. Now, the US State Department said in a statement that the US Embassy in Jerusalem will be shut given the security situation and in compliance with Israel Home Front Command guidance. This includes the consular sections in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. President Donald Trump met with his National Security Council on Tuesday after calling for Iran's surrender. The embassy statement said there was no current announcement about helping Americans leave the crisis area. The Indian Embassy in Tel Aviv has issued an advisory for nationals in Israel to stay vigilant and follow safety protocols. In the advisory, it is said that Indians intending to leave should use land crossings and register with the embassy for assistance. The Embassy of India has also activated its helpline number 24/7 to provide assistance to the Indian nationals. Those needing help or information, they can call at +972 54 7520 711 and +972 54 327 8392. They can also email at cons1.telaviv@mea.gov.in. In addition, Indian nationals who remain in Israel and have not yet registered with the embassy have been strongly urged to do so immediately via the registration portal, which is indianembassyisrael.gov.in/Indian_national_reg. Meanwhile, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on Wednesday issued a stern warning to Israel, vowing a harsh retaliation for its attack. Taking to social media platform X, Khamenei said, and I quote, "We must give a strong response to the terrorist Zionist regime. We will show how the Zionists know mercy," unquote. Iran has denied seeking nuclear weapons and has pointed to its rights to nuclear technology for peaceful purposes, including enrichment, as a party to the International Non-Proliferation Treaty.
We are now on day 5 of Operation Rising Lion. We've struck deep, hitting Iran's nuclear, ballistic, and command capabilities. The Iranian regime has spent years getting closer to a nuclear weapon. They have spent billions building a ballistic missile program. Our mission is clear: to remove the threat at its source.
Brutality as geopolitical risks escalate. Moving on, US President Donald Trump will extend the 19th of June deadline for China-based ByteDance to divest the US assets of short video app TikTok by 90 days, despite a law that had mandated a sale or a shutdown absent significant progress. Now, this is the third time Trump has put off a threatened ban on the popular app. A federal law requiring TikTok's sale or ban on national security grounds was due to take effect the day before Trump's January inauguration. Trump, whose 2024 election campaign relied heavily on social media, has previously said he is fond of the video sharing app. TikTok on Monday introduced a new symphony suite for generative artificial intelligence tools for advertisers to turn words or photos into video snippets for the platform. Flights to and from Bali were cancelled on Wednesday after Mount Lewatapi Laki erupted in Indonesia's East Nusa Tenggara, shooting ash 10 kilometers into the sky. Authorities raised the volcano's alert level to the highest tier. Airlines including Jetstar, Virgin Australia, Air India and AirAsia suspended flights due to hazardous ash clouds. Residents were warned to stay at least 7 kilometers away from the crater. Tremors continue for now and officials fear possible mud flows if heavy rain falls. Bali's airport remains operational, but disruptions persist. Now, air conditioning has long driven up electricity bills, but a college in Hong Kong has found a more sustainable way to stay cool. Its newly introduced mixed air conditioning system is able to cut energy consumption by up to 67%. The new hybrid cooling system has proven to be a game changer, cutting energy use by up to 67% during humid months like April. Unlike conventional AC units that run continuously, the hybrid system optimizes airflow and temperature by incorporating both mechanical and cooling and natural ventilation. It can even be switched off during off-peak hours, yet still maintains a comfortable indoor climate, demonstrating how technology and design can work together for sustainability. Updates on Air India plane crash now. 6 days after the unfortunate incident, authorities continue to work round the clock to ensure that DNA samples could be matched and remains handed over to grieving families as quickly as possible. So far, tests have verified the identities of 184 victims who died on the 12th of June crash, and the mortal remains of 133 victims were handed over to their families. The testing is being done by teams from the FSL and National Forensic Sciences University. Gujarat government is closely coordinating with the civil hospital to ensure smooth communication between the officials and victims' families. India is set to commission its first anti-submarine warfare shallow watercraft Arnala at the Naval Dockyard in Visakhapatnam today. The ceremony will be presided over by Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan and attended by top naval officials. Built under the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, Arnala is designed for surveillance, search and rescue missions and coastal defence. With advanced weapons and sensors, this 77.6 meters warship marks a major boost to India's naval strength, reinforcing its position in the strategically vital Indian Ocean region. The induction sets the stage for further maritime advancements. And now let's get you weather updates. Indian Meteorological Department has predicted intense weather activity across various regions of the country in the coming number of days. IMD has issued a yellow alert for Delhi and NCR for Wednesday, forecasting thunderstorms with lightning, light to moderate rain and thunder squalls. Traffic disruptions and potential delays to flights and trains could also take place. Residents have been advised to stay indoors and avoid non-essential travel. According to the IMD, eastern and central part of India, including Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand and Odisha, to witness heavy to very heavy rainfall accompanied with thunderstorms, lightning and gusting winds during the 18th till the 21st of June. Moreover, heavy to very heavy rainfall is likely on western part of India, including Gujarat, Konkan, Goa and Maharashtra from the 18th till the 20th of June. Isolated heavy rainfall over Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh and East Rajasthan from the 18th till the 23rd of June is also predicted. IMD has also issued red alert for Assam and Meghalaya for the 18th and 19th of June, followed by an orange alert on the 21st of June. Whereas the rest of the northeastern states have been issued orange alerts, Assam and Meghalaya are likely to experience extremely heavy rainfall, while heavy to very heavy rainfall is likely to continue over the northeast during the next 7 days. Time to take a short break, but still to come on the other side. From ancient wisdom to modern wellness, yoga transforms over centuries to become a global phenomenon. And Super 60 USA Legends Tournament kicks off from the 5th of August, set to drive the growth of cricket in the United States.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. between walkers, money is what money does, and says supply creates its own demand, between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. After that short break, you're watching DD India News Hour. Now, as India prepares for the 11th International Day of Yoga, June the 21st, Saturday, yoga sessions were held at various locations in run-up to the mega event, with participants performing traditional poses. In Uttar Pradesh, a week-long yoga and educational workshop was organized in Gorakhnath Temple to mark the beginning of International Day of Yoga. The event has been jointly organized by Mahayogi Guru Gorakhnath Yoga Institute, Gorakhnath Temple and Maharana Pratap Shiksha Parishad. The inaugural session was graced by Professor Ramakrishna Reddy, Vice-Chancellor of Ayush University. The program was presided over by Yogi Kamalnath, head priest of Gorakhnath Temple. Ministry of Ayush also organized Yoga Mahakumbh 2025, a grand 3-day celebration of yoga, wellness and holistic living. From ancient wisdom to modern wellness, yoga has transformed over centuries to become a global phenomenon. Today, not just it is transforming lives as a fitness regime, but as a holistic way of life as well. Up next is an inspiring story of Pragya Malik, who changed her life through the practice of yoga.
Meet Pragya Malik, a PhD scholar of Delhi University, who was once diagnosed with PCOD, and today she looks glowing, healthy and symptoms-free, all with the help of yoga. We welcome you, Pragya, on DD India. So, when were you diagnosed with PCOD?
It was back in 2019 that I observed so many symptoms in my body, like weight gaining, hair fall, and disorder with my sleepings. So these are the things happening with my body and with my life. So I just went to the gynecologist and diagnosed with the PCOD. So first I was afraid that gynecologist told me many things about the PCOD. So I realized and I start reading about the PCOD, how to reverse it. Then I start reading about yoga and meditation can cure the PCOD. And right now I'm the example that I reverse my PCOD things. Right now I'm very healthy and mentally fit personality right now.
But why did you choose yoga over medication?
Because I read about the many allopathic things, then they press the things. They didn't cure the root cause of the PCOD. They just press that time and it will happen in your future. Like again, yoga and meditation is the only things that can cure your PCOD, PCOS and many others mental health issues which is going on right now in the contemporary world.
You just spoke about mental health. So when it comes to youngsters and specifically females, are there any tips you give to students or youngsters while teaching yoga?
Yeah, first of all, while it comes to the mental health issues, like so many things happening in the contemporary world, like youngsters are afraid to do things, and when they just didn't about to achieve their goals in the lives, and many relationships issues are going on with the youngster and Gen Z generation. So first, instead of scrolling the things in social media, they have to correct their sleeping pattern, biological clock and eating habits. These are the game changers in the mental health issues. Like when you correct your biological clock, then your brain release some happy hormones and start with some Brahmari yoga pranayam. So Brahmari is the only one of the strongest pranayam which is mentioned in the many books.
So Pragya's story indeed tell us that anything can be reversed, medical ailments with yoga, and yoga is not just about the poses, it is balance towards life. With camera person Pramod Negi, I'm Kriti Vadhera reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour, and now it's time to get you all the latest from the world of sports. To begin with archery first. India's junior compound archers continued their impressive performance at the Asian Cup Leg 2 in Singapore. The women's compound team, comprising of Shahmukhi Nagasai, Tejal Rajendra Salve and Tanishka Neelkumar, registered a new world record in team qualification with a combined score of 2,101 points. In the mixed team event, Kushal Dalal and Shanmukhi Nagasai added to India's glory by setting another world record with 1,420 points in qualification. In cricket, the Super 60 USA Legends Tournament featuring star Indian cricketers is set to kick off from the 5th of August this year. Shikhar Dhawan, Harbhajan Singh, Suresh Raina and Robin Uthappa are all set to feature in the tournament. The tournament will feature several teams made up of former international stars competing in a condensed 10-over format. The event aims at captivating audiences and drive the growth of cricket across the United States. The tournament will take place over a 12-day span from the 5th till the 16th of August. Not only for the world, but the Jamaican sprint great Usain Bolt is now an icon for the Guinness World Records as well. The 7-time world record holder has been inducted into Guinness' exclusive icon club, joining an elite group of global history makers. The move is part of Guinness' 70th anniversary celebrations, honoring figures who have redefined excellence. Usain Bolt, whose record-shattering speed in the 100-meter and 200-meter sprints remains unbeaten, was presented the award in Manchester by Guinness Editor-in-Chief Craig Glenday. Moving on. Siberia Tiger Park in China's Harbin welcomed 12 newborn Siberian tiger cubs. Caretakers have reported that the cubs are in excellent health and are already beginning to explore their surroundings with playful curiosity. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.